All right, welcome to the latest edition of the FPL America podcast. This is David Smith.
Travis Hoig.
Brian Shesko.
Gentlemen, please forgive me how I smell tonight, as I smell like a cigar lounge. I just came from a local establishment, their 22nd year of a cigar and lobster fest, and it was a great time as usual. I was with a good group of gentlemen. And listen, I promised these guys I'd give them a shout out. They wanted to go by code names, so it's Unicorn, Shadow, and Lisp. And so, yes, technically then if I'm saying Lisp, it would be Thado. But Unicorn, yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to give a personal shout out to them. I was with a good group of guys having a good time. Lobster tails, cigars, really kind of all you can drink. Had some good bourbons on tap. Some beers and whatever. I did not bring anything. Brian wanted me to bring wings. I told them we had to back the pot up because I knew I would be pushing it a little later. My day has been crazy. It went from work to middle school girls basketball, directly to the dinner, directly to podcasts, and my day has not stopped since 6:30 a.m. Such is the pod life.
My favorite
thing
is reheated lobster.
So
that's impossible.
I've heard you say that before.
That's completely impossible.
You were not so selfish.
The Lego
completely
Batman.
Impossible.
Lobster Thermidor.
By the way.
Reheated. Yeah.
Lego Fortnite in full effect right now for any of these people out there.
That's very true.
And it is a real deal, as I am shocked at the amount of players involved. It sounds crazy. Look,
it's a lot.
All those people out there playing Fortnite, look, I'm a first-gen gamer, so I still do some gaming from time to time. I enjoy Fortnite, and I know Brian does as well. And our kids play it. It's one thing we can bond about, and Fortnite has made great strides in diving into the Minecraft world with their own Lego Fortnite, which is brilliant. And they've also gotten into the racing world. So yeah, people at Epic Games, and this is not a.
I was going to say, this is what the people are here for.
Yeah.
Whatever people are here
for sure. Yeah. They're here to hear about my busy day, smelling like a cigar, eating lobster, drinking bourbon, and now talking FPL. What a week. We had 2 weeks into one, right, Travis? 15 and 16. I don't know how much we're going to touch on 15. We probably will a little bit. We definitely, mainly for sure, focus on 16, Brian.
Yeah.
And look, I think we should just dive right into it, unless you guys want to comment on anything else that I already talked about. If you want to ask me who's Shadow or Unicorn or Lithbith.
I'll ask you that when we're done.
Fair enough. So we can dive right into it. Brian, you feel good about it?
I do, and I think, you're exactly right. I have a lot of questions for you guys, primarily about Game Week 15, but I'm sure the results of Game Week 14 will factor in.
So is it 14-15 or 15-16?
15-16.
Did I speak incorrectly, or did you speak incorrectly, Brian?
I don't know.
Okay.
15-16.
Travis feels pretty good about 15-16. So
I got it in front of me.
So we will stick with that.
Sorry.
All right. Starting off, I think it's only fair to start. Here we go. I'm drinking water at this point because I had plenty to drink earlier. Here we go. Starting off, top of the table. Liverpool 2, Palace 1. Liverpool sneaks into first place. Travis, first time all season. Totally earned. Liverpool Football Club, top of the table.
Worked hard.
Good fake out.
It was a good fake out.
Thank you. Worked on it. Planned on it. Travis, how did
it feel for you? That's what I'm really worried about. With as often as you've mentioned and leaned on that sound bite.
The top of the table Arsenal.
Yeah.
I said it a lot over the last 2 seasons.
Fine. You earned it.
But no, look, in this situation, I was disappointed with Arsenal's performance. We'll get there. Liverpool had an opportunity to jump ahead. They had a much easier matchup than Villa versus Palace. Klopp has never lost at Palace, which is a weird stat. So Palace is super beat up with injuries.
It continued to be during the match.
So it just felt like this was probably going to go Liverpool's way. Although anyone who watched the match knows a little tighter than that, wasn't it?
Very tight, very tight. A lot of decisions did not go Palace's way. I think the match ended where it probably needed to end from from a quality of play from each side. But at the end of the day, I think Liverpool was maybe a little bit fortunate. On another day, the refereeing decisions could have gone against them, especially given the fact that they had two penalties given against them.
Klopp said so much afterwards. Yeah, I mean, he kind of felt that. Yeah, I mean, I think even more, it seemed more like from the Liverpool performance, it seemed like he felt like they kind of not got away with one, but just was seemed like it was it could have gone either way.
Palace, who they had out there, really played. I feel like they played at their max.
It's about as good as I've seen them play, but I will say that wasn't very good. They're not the expansive Patrick Vieira team. Yeah, they're. I mean, anytime you put Joel Ward out on the field, you got to be a little bit worried as a.
Look, Joel Ward, Brian, as you know, is one of our pod favorites going back ages. Ages ago.
I mean, I was going to say even after the fact. I mean, because it'll kind of comes into play for Manchester City. I mean, good luck finding someone from Crystal Palace who's not injured. That continues. It was already bad, and it got worse in this match. Sam Johnston can't even survive the match. Somebody you think is the safest
awesome
guy. So.
Recapping quickly, Palace takes the lead with a penalty, 57th minute.
Which was odd.
Which was odd, especially because they were fighting over the pen, sort of. The Palace guys were.
The whole thing was weird.
Typically, I would never think that whatever team is arguing over who's going to take it, that guy, I feel like, typically misses. Mateta ends up scoring it. He ends up winning the arguing match. Mateta scores it. Salah brings Liverpool back to somewhat of normalcy in the 76th minute, assisted by Curtis Jones. And then Starboy Harvey Elliott, assisted by Salah, scores in the 90+1.
So a rocket, yeah.
It was an absolute fantastic goal. No one picked him up, and they let him get two dribbles into the box, and Elliott smoked one, as he should have. So I feel like if Liverpool deserved this, and I know maybe Klopp was kind of downplaying it a little bit, but when you look at the lineups, you look at who Palace had out there, you look who Liverpool had out there, regardless if it was Palace at home, money would have been on Liverpool, and they kind of grinded it out. And if you want to win titles, if you want to compete for titles, you win games like these. And so I want to give Liverpool credit here. They got it done.
It was disappointing because they couldn't do it against 11. They had to. They really didn't turn it on until
by hook or by
Ayew gets sent off, which was maybe a little bit soft. I would say it was definitely soft, but that guy is just a walking yellow card, anyways, right? Like, he can't stop.
If only there was a way to know how many yellows he has, bro.
Well, he was going to be suspended for the next match, I think, anyways, because of his first yellow, which was for just the petulance of standing in front of a free kick and refusing to move, and he got carded for time wasting.
Fairly petulant,
which is a little silly.
Yeah.
So his soft foul for the second one is unfortunate, but it's just poor decision making. Okay. All that to say, it only took a matter of seconds after Ayew goes off before Salah scores his goal, which is good, but that numbers advantage was what it took for Liverpool to get across the line. It's the way the game went, so I'll accept it. But I am a little bit concerned about their inability to break down teams that sit deep and do a good job of being organized.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a late riser stat here he gave earlier today. Just that the top XG teams right now are exactly who you'd expect. It's Fulham, it's Bournemouth, it's a couple other people, but City and Liverpool are 10th and 11th.
Yeah, right now.
Really?
Yeah, like the last 4 games or something like that.
So just don't get opportunities because everybody's packing the boxes.
So, and even look, it's a on target shot that gets
I'm very surprised.
But Travis,
very surprised.
I don't know if I buy fully into that because they've been doing that against Liverpool for years. I mean, what is Liverpool most dangerous at when they were countering you?
Yeah,
good luck. Good luck. If Liverpool is in a position where they can counter you, you're probably getting scored on. I mean, this goes back to Suarez and Sturridge. This goes back. Mane and Salah did it for ages. Like, this is perfectly so. If I'm playing against Liverpool, I never want to put them in a position where they can counter.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that Liverpool has become and is evolved into more of a possession team. They're not sitting back and absorbing the pressure from somebody else.
I know.
They want the ball. And if you've got the ball, you've got to unlock the defense. Otherwise, you're just beating up against
one reason why they brought in Darwin to be a prototypical 9.
Which is more about being, bringing the ball down on a break, going more direct.
Let's be a little honest here.
Yeah.
He continues to have amazing XG. I don't know what his stat is, Brian, but I think it's probably fair to say, without looking at the stats in front of me, that no one has been more wasteful on the season than Darwin.
I'm sure of that.
He continues to put himself in amazing positions. I think he is an amazing talent. I want that to be known.
Very raw.
I just feel like for whatever reason, he can't get past the mental hump and just put the ball in the net.
I mean, maybe he was good in this match, maybe not. I just think
average.
It doesn't matter because the fact is that there's way too many people outperforming him, not overperforming
at that
him.
price point.
At lower price points.
Significantly less than
points,
him. Yeah, at this point, holding Darwin is almost
it's
insane if you do.
A lot of people recently, fantasy-wise, have gone to Darwin in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
And they're running away now. Because he's just not performing.
But I feel like
on paper, it looks like he's about to break through.
I feel like the second they run away, he's actually going to score.
You know what?
But then
I
again,
hope so.
Well,
I really hope so.
I've been on record as saying this.
That was an FPL pundit statement for people who had Darwin weeks ago. Like, I know, like, it's coming. I think we even said that the last time. It might have said it the last time we recorded.
How long do you wait?
It's coming now that everyone's on him. It's not going to matter if who cares what his his overall ownership is. It doesn't matter because now so many people are on him. So when his haul finally comes, it's not going to matter. And it still is.
We're still waiting.
I think I said this last week. Could be wrong. I think I said this. I would rather have Dom than Darwin. Now,
I think you did say
at
that.
At least this has paid off for 1 week.
I think we both
said
that.
I was wicked nervous in saying that. I was lucky this week it sort of paid off. I want to be on record as saying
paid off this week.
I completely believe that Darwin is a fantastic talent. And if I was,
he doesn't listen. He's not going to come to your house.
And if I'm a Liverpool fan, he might listen. Actually, if I'm a Liverpool fan,
speak very good English, so even if he listens, he's not going to understand.
He gets it. If I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm continue to be disappointed, but I would continue to be hopeful as well. I think he'll be fine. Now,
certainly
Salah
hopeful.
Owners. Look, this week let's get again keeping this in the fantasy world. Captainers this week. I think most decisions were between Haaland and Salah. I believe there could be other gutsy people who went Son, and Brian, we'll get to them. Majorly cashed in, super gutsy considering his last match on the pitch when he looked like after during the match he looked like he was in some significant pain. Anyways, getting back to this, Salah gives you a fantastic return, 13 fantasy points, 1 goal and assist, bonus points. And so if you're captain Salah and or vice captain him with the understanding that Haaland might not play, although that was a late announcement.
Yeah.
After, I don't think that knowledge was public.
Everyone was asleep by that time.
I don't think that knowledge was public when the deadline was approaching.
No, because it was a reliable City account who said something about who's your vice captain, and a lot of people caught on to it. Also, I think they said Haaland's dad. That's out there too. Haaland's dad plays FPL, and he had gotten rid of him. Somebody else had Haaland and sold him, or captain somebody else. Either way, the player movements on this kind of tip you off, but you don't. Obviously, you're never going to see that ahead of their lineups, right?
Right.
And so, it didn't matter.
You're not in a league with Alfie?
Haaland's dad?
I'm saying no. I got rid of Julian Alvarez on Saturday. I did not listen to my own advice because I banked the transfer after the midweek games.
Okay.
Made 3 transfers because I had so many people out. Made 3 transfers. And one of them was to get rid of Julian Alvarez. I never would have done that in a million years if I had seen that news,
right?
Or if I had known it going into the match on Sunday.
Did it bite you? Yeah, I mean, not him specifically, but who else?
Ryan,
you brought in?
I think you had a decent.
No,
week.
my score was fine this week. It's the decision. It's the other decision. It was my vice captain decision. My vice captain was not Mo Salah, to bring it back to the vice captain.
We'll get to that. Hold on, I want to get back to that because that's a funny story. I love how you delivered that to me yesterday.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
A real laugh riot.
So we'll get there.
Excellent match. It was fun. It was controversial with multiple penalties, a red card, and late goal in the 91st minute. So all told, I think I'm very happy with where we are. I wish we had more points from that Tottenham match. Still, a little butthurt about that.
Listen,
that's some daylight right there.
Don't get the Arsenal guys started on penalties that weren't called. But anyways, continue.
All that to say, good week. Good week. Just about everything that we could have hoped for this week, we got.
Trent, people were upset about the goal. Look, I'm not a Trent guy. I just can't make money to get there, and I'm probably not going to go there.
Yeah.
I can't get to Trippier either. So Trent and Trippier is not in my lexicon. But a lot of people own him. So, of course, they're disappointed that Palace lets a goal in.
I was going to say, Mateta crushed
or 2 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, I crushed the Tsimikas and Trent dream.
Yeah, that said, though, I still think that we're on the same train with Trent where he's performing at a reasonable rate that we could potentially consider bringing him in even at his price point. And Trippier is coming off the boil a little bit.
I agree with that.
And so we may be moving even more towards the needle pointing more towards Trent as opposed to Trippier at this stage, especially with all of the issues that Newcastle has had with injuries that didn't seem to have gotten any better throughout the course of.
So Trent gets 2 bonus points. So even though obviously
no goal, no assist, no clean sheet, and still gets 2 bonus points. That is exactly what we were talking about, right?
Created 6 chances, which is tied for most of anybody this week. Currently, the sale of Trippier is the highest. The highest combination of transfer is Trippier to Porro. That's currently the number 1 defender transfer.
You're making money on that one.
But 32% of the people who are getting Trent are selling Trippier to do it. All of these transfer stats courtesy of fantasyfootballfix.com.
Interesting.
I would say, so that's the question, is do you sell Trippier for Trent? Here's your stats.
Probably not yet.
Trippier.
Ryan, do you have any stats for me?
I have some stats for you guys. Trippier is the number 1 scoring defender overall.
Okay.
82 points. Trent is number 2, 75 points. Trent is 3rd in shots. He's taken 20 on the season. Trippier is a non-factor when it comes to shots. He's only taken 6. Doesn't matter, though, because Trippier has been in the box 22 times and Trent has been in 16 times. Trent has 2 goals. Trippier has none, which I don't know that can stay like that all season.
Probably not.
Trippier has 7 assists, which is the number 1 overall in the league for defenders, and Trent has 3 assists. Kieran Trippier has created 45 chances, and Trent has created 34 chances. That is number 1 and number 2 overall among defenders.
Okay.
And each of them have created 9 big chances, which is the number 1 amount for defenders. Yeah, would you rather have Trent against Manchester United than having Trippier versus yellow card suspension? Yeah, of course. Of course I'd rather have Trent in my roster this week.
Right.
After his suspension, Luton, Nottingham Forest, and then they play each other. Liverpool is at Newcastle.
And then Liverpool plays City and then Villa.
Right.
So,
but I'm saying but Trippier's got Trippier's got City coming when they come back after the break. That's January 13th. You got, and even then, that's far.
Yeah.
Trent's got Manchester United, Arsenal, Burnley, Newcastle. Those are okay. It's not. I would say not great.
By the way, Newcastle only has 3 games in January. January 1st, January 13th, January 30th.
Yeah, that big gap, that 2 weeks is going to be really long and boring.
But there's 2 2-week gaps there.
I guess my advice, based on everything that there is just bench Trippier. Find a way to get both of them.
What?
I don't know.
You're saying spend that much money in your defense to get Trippier and TAA?
I would want to do that. I feel like that's that's like the ideal thing to do.
Holy Moses, dude!
It's a ton of points. I just feel like they're the best two defenders. They're the best two. If you had Trent, Trippier, and Porro with the two other cheapest defenders you could possibly get, I don't hate them. I don't hate that. What's wrong with that? I know it's a lot of money, and it's always a question of what are you giving up? Where else are you? What are you losing here and there? And yeah, it's extremely expensive. To me, if you're gonna go for one or the other, would you rather have Trippier against Luton and Nottingham Forest, or Trent against Arsenal and Burnley? I don't expect them to keep a clean sheet against Arsenal. Not even close.
No.
Burnley, sure. It's a way. Yeah, I guess so.
Who shows up?
I agree.
I'm just saying, you have a way better shot at 2 clean sheets from Newcastle against Luton and Nottingham Forest than you do.
You know what's funny about Liverpool? Travis, you could tell me I'm crazy. I feel like Liverpool actually has more of a chance of a clean sheet against Arsenal than they do Burnley. And I don't know why. It just feels like they always play well when they need to, and when you expect them to pound a team, sometimes they don't. And so it wouldn't surprise me if they actually beat Arsenal 1-0, and then beat Burnley 2-1, and they leak a goal to Burnley.
And Liverpool's defensive record is not bad. It's actually in one of the top defensive records in the league right now, even with this match coming through and giving up a goal. The thing is they're not playing pretty, right? That's the main thing. They look shaky. They look like they're going to give up a goal, even though they're from a statistic standpoint they're up there.
Yeah.
So the one thing I would say though is it is extremely, I don't want to say irresponsible. That's not the right word. It's risky to do Trent and Trippier, and the reason why I say that is this: who do you think has more points, Trent or He Chan in the midfield? Don't look.
No, I'm not.
I would think He Chan would.
So He Chan has 76 points. Alexander Arnold has 75.
Oh, 75. That's right. Trippier
75.
has 81.
So
or something.
the main thing for me is, though, looking at their price differences, you're looking at 8-1 and 5-8. You can get the same points that you're getting from Trent. So it's a lot of points. You're absolutely right. But you can get those points from cheaper assets in the midfield.
We're now at the stage of the season where we can start using points per pound as a reference.
Sure.
This pod originated before the FPL started calling it something different, but it's pretty much the same thing. I don't remember what they used. The FPL pundits started using a term.
Yeah, they'll say points. People will say points per million.
It's common.
Points per million, but we like points per pound dollar is what we love to say.
Oh yeah, you definitely did coin that. Points per pound dollar, because no one says that.
But I think
for sure.
But we're now at that stage of the season where we can completely consider that.
The other thing that's gonna shake everything up is all of the absences for AFCON. So for
some people, not City.
Right, that's what I mean. But there's going to be a lot of money.
Nobody.
There's a lot of money.
Multiple things I'm thinking about commenting there.
Well,
are they AFCONists?
What?
City?
I mean, Men in Blazers said it. I mean, that's they had the sad reminder earlier today that depending on how things go for South Korea, that Spurs could have no sun for 6 weeks.
Yeah,
that's massive.
I mean,
is there a AsiaCon?
Yeah, it's not AsiaCon, but yeah, it's the shoot.
If only there was a way. Brian, as you love to say,
it's that other cup.
Responsible pods would actually understand.
It's escaping me.
A better
right
podcast would have that already. No, but I'm saying is there's a lot of money that's there to be spread around at some point. I'm just saying, again,
I'm not going to Trent.
Tell me what
I hear your numbers.
You tell me what a crazy combination is, and I'll just say, like you can point to almost anyone and say, I never in a million years would have thought that Joachim Andersen from Crystal Palace would be the #1 scoring defender for a time.
Fair.
Now his price has dropped.
I mean, he's still like top 4.
Senesi from Bournemouth, who is
Right.
who's in my team, is your top scoring defender for like the past 4 weeks or something like that. Look at Mikolenko from Everton. When we get to Everton, we can talk about Mikolenko.
Anderson's 4, Mikolenko's 5th overall.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are all players where you're like, I never in a million years was like, you're not thinking of those guys ahead of the season. Like, they're not an option for you going into, in August. Well, they are now. And that's why I'm saying, like, you're talking about 2 of the most reliable defensive assets of the last minimum for Trent for 3 years, 4 years now. Trippier since he's come back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I can promise you this.
I don't hate the move, and honestly, I wish I could do it. I'm just like, again, I just don't know who you get rid of to make that happen.
Regardless of how good, and this is not an Everton podcast.
I don't like it.
We're not even on Everton yet. I just want, this can't be stated more. Mikolenko in his last 8 match weeks, 8, 11, 9, 1, 6, 6, 7, guaranteed. I bet that is the highest score in fantasy, forwards, midfielders, defenders, period, in the last 8 match weeks.
You're moving
It's a
to
lot
him?
of points.
That's ridiculous.
You're moving to him?
Mikolenko.
Just to wrap up.
I would absolutely. He's 4-5. I mean, are you kidding me? Matty Cash to Mikolenko, done.
We can talk about that.
Easy done.
We can
Doing
talk
it right now?
We can talk about it.
I would do that. Let me look at his fixtures. Hold on,
I was
Brian.
going to say we
Brian's
can talk
got
about
important
more.
things to
I was
talk
going to
about.
say we're going to talk about more when we get to Everton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who are we talking about right now?
All right.
I just want to wrap up the point
Yes, thank you,
on
Brian.
Liverpool.
Well said.
Just that I think the end is like you learned nothing.
In this match,
the players that you expected to do something, that you hoped would do something.
Well,
The 2 that are the most important got you something. Salah gets
from a Liverpool
Salah gets
standpoint,
has an amazing game and saves everybody's week. The vice captained him, and you got, if you went to Trent, like, good on you for going to Trent. He still gets you at least a 4 when almost everyone else got you a 2 or a 1.
That's fair.
So,
Crystal Palace, though.
Harvey Elliott scores, not an FPL option. Nice goal.
No.
Crystal Palace. Doucouré's done for the year. Eze was still in a walking boot this week. Tyrick Mitchell missed this game with a hip injury, although his injury isn't nearly as bad as probably some of the others.
okay.
Sam Johnson subbed out for Remy Matthews,
Yes,
who is
which
3.9 and is owned by a total of 12,000
And
people.
it was something like John Stone's calf. I think he.
Yeah.
What was his calf?
The announcer in the match read the lips and said, he
Yeah.
said, my calf is gone.
Calf injury for sure.
That's exactly what he said. You could tell.
I don't. Yeah, you have. I assume that. With all these injuries, to me,
that doesn't sound good. Like, Johnston's not coming back next week.
That's what I mean. I think that
That's a big one.
right. I think that Roy Hodgson will be probably forthright with that, just because he's had to discuss only injuries for the last 2 months. Odson Edward lasted a half before his knee injury happened. Jefferson Lerma picked up a hamstring injury.
Yes.
All of that to say,
Walking wounded, man.
they
Poor
play
Palace.
Manchester City next.
Oh, good Lord.
So, like, this is
Holland doesn't need to come back because they're going to smash him anyway.
maybe.
Yes, I think that's the point.
And also, I would say it's
won't
after
rush him.
City, it's Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, Arsenal. Maybe the Brentford game. We said like Brighton and Palace is a derby. I just think Crystal
Tomato
Palace,
derby.
Dumbest derby.
unless you're going to Remy Matthews because you need a cheap goalkeeper and it's announced that he's starting,
He's 3-9.
Crystal Palace is unusable until they play Sheffield in game week 22. Because assuming by then everybody will be back or whatever.
So, did you sell Mitchell?
I did.
Did you sell Eze?
Long time ago.
Okay.
I was going to say the other 3.9 goalkeeper dream, Kelleher, that was also
over.
dashed
Yeah, it's
because
over.
Allison was back this week too.
All right, let's move to the aforementioned Everton Fighting Football Club, the point deducted Everton Sean Dyche Fighters, also known as the Everton Blues. They were playing the Chelsea Blues. Everton comes out on top 2-0. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Brian, your boy, who you probably sold
Did you
in
sell
the
him?
54th minute. And then new kid on the block,
Did you ever play him?
NKOTB, Lewis Dobbin, 90+2, gets a
How
goal.
long he be on the field?
And like, I'm pretty sure he's like 17 years
He'd been
old.
on- he came on the 86th minute
Yeah, he
and
came
scored
on
in
really late.
92.
It's
How-
fantastic.
Wow.
How can Chelsea and Manchester United feel the same when you think about them, but United is 6th and Chelsea is 12th.
So
I don't understand.
That is an interesting question.
I feel like they're the same team this season, and Manchester United is in 6th.
So it's interesting. I don't feel they're the same team. I feel like they're in both their own ways complete shite.
Okay.
That's what at least the Chelsea clubhouse, I feel like they can't put it together. They have plenty of talent, but I feel like all those guys are trying for Pochettino, whereas United has a group that, in my opinion, and I said in Slack this past week, Slack sponsor us, that there is no way, like, this is exactly, and we'll get to United right after this. United put in a performance that is exactly what you would expect of players who want their manager sacked.
Yeah.
So anyways, what we're talking about, Everton, Chelsea in this match, Brian, I'm with you. Look, Chelsea dominates possession, 72-27. Shots on target, 4 out of 16. Everton, 5 shots on target, 9 total, 5 on target. Chelsea dominated technically every single statistic thing except the scorecard. And look, Everton find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And you can be as pretty and ball possession-y as you want. If you don't win on that scoreline, Travis, it means nothing.
I don't know what's going on. I can't. From a tactical perspective, they're not bad. They're not playing poorly. They're just getting exposed and giving up crappy goals.
I mean, if the first thing is, I mean, this is like the 5th or 6th time this season that there's been like a complete overhaul of the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree, Brian.
Yet again, another like.
There's not enough consistency.
All the people who you went that were like Levi Colwill was one of the people that was. I mean, it was.
How many people went to him this week?
Tons. He was a top transfer in because he's cheap and it seemed like he was nailed. And then of course he gets benched. And the only reason why he got his a 60-minute performance was because Reece James got injured. So
did he?
Wait a minute. The Reece James actually got hurt?
Yes, that Reece James.
He got a start? Brian,
he's so stout.
You said in the beginning of the season the biggest fool's gold in fantasy of all time is the guy we actually like, but unfortunately can't stay healthy, Reece James, that guy?
Not an option. Ben Dinnery has the numbers on it. Basically showed this week after the injury happened. He's basically been 30% available in his time at Chelsea.
That is such a shame.
So
I mean, look, I don't like Chelsea. I respect Reece James. I hate that he can't stay healthy.
Anyone who voluntarily puts Reece James into their FPL team from this point forward should be in a hospital.
That's not the first time you've said that.
It's all hope.
I want that to be known. You said that the last time he tried.
There's just no. There's so many people that went to him, and I mean, admittedly, you look at it and you're like, ooh, fixtures are good. Fixtures look real good for Chelsea, and then you're like, well, Reece James, he says he's fit as he's ever been, and he's putting in some 60-minute performances, and then
the sad part is he probably is as fit as he's ever been. He's still getting injured because he's that freakishly
the discussion,
crispy.
and I mean we'll talk about it with Aston Villa, but the same thing came up with Leon Bailey when in the Aston Villa Arsenal match, where it was like, hey, some guys just for whatever reason they just can't stay fit, and he's the poster boy for it.
All right, the ownable players from Everton, in my opinion, are Decore and Mikolenko, who, again, I just said a few minutes ago, his last 8 matches, I dare anyone to outscore him. I can't do that fast math. I'll rehash it again. 8, 11, 9, 1, 6, 6, 7.
Is that since game week 8? Because I can tell you that since game week 8, he has 56 points, and only Trent has more than him. Trent's got 58.
I said 8 games. I was 7 games. It was 10 through 16. Technically, that's 7 games. So go back to where you said match week 8, that's 9 games, and that's Bournemouth where he got another. So 6, 2, 8, 11, 9, 1, 6, 6, 7.
Here's the thing with Mikolenko. He's taken 12 shots. That's great. It's third most since game week 8 for defenders. He's been in the box 10 times. He has 10 touches in the box. That's not much. He's created 1 chance. The form of Mikolenko is tied to when Everton is getting
clean sheet,
yeah, 100%,
and then he's getting bonuses.
No, that's the
He's
thing.
not getting bonus.
He's not getting bonus.
Well, in
I
the
think
6-6-7, he got one bonus for the 7.
Right. This week,
so the last 3
bonus.
weeks, he hasn't gotten any bonus except one,
And
which is this week.
if a defender scores a goal, you can almost guarantee they're
There's
getting bonus points.
I agree.
So when he has scored, that he got what you expect.
Now,
He's hardly doing anything at all. I'm not saying that he's not, like, the scores are great. I'm just saying he personally, the numbers, he's doing nothing but shooting, and it's not a lot on target. I think he has 3 shots on target. I'm just saying he's got Burnley, Tottenham, Manchester City, and Wolves.
And 3 of those are away.
So
3 out of the 4.
Away to
that doesn't
Burnley.
bode well.
Away to Burnley, okay.
Probably fine.
You'll take that. You'd like that one, okay. Tottenham, Manchester City at Wolves. I don't. You take it because he's 4-5 if he's a benchable player.
Would you rather
for
have him or Matty Cash?
I'd rather have Mikolenko.
Yeah.
No question.
Right.
Right.
Well, because he's playing every match too, all
Right.
90.
I mean,
At least he's gonna get you 2.
and I honestly,
And probably not get a yellow card.
I might.
Everton is just in a weird spot right now. Where
I was
feel
gonna
like
say I might take Ashley Young over Matty Cash right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's like the defense.
Cash has been
Everton's
burning a
defense-
hole in my pocket, right?
Yeah, you
and
should-
so, what's the easy transfer there? I don't know yet, but I just feel like Mikolenko's worth the talk.
You have a lot of options.
You do have a lot of options.
On Ducouré.
So, let's go back to Ducouré.
I am no longer one of the 1.6% of the people who have
1.7, Brian. Some people.
Wow, went up. It went up since I looked earlier.
Went up a tenth.
Jeez, holy jeez! In an hour, it went up 0.1. He is the peak right place, right time player, and that's. I mean, look, I can find my own quote. I'm sure it's in my notes. I said it's the reason why I got him in the first place. He's going to keep doing this because this is what he's been doing since Sean Dyche got there. He is now 8th in midfielder scoring. He is the cheapest player in midfield for the highest score. So on your points per pound scale,
Ducouré's up there.
He is ahead of Hwang, of Hee-Chan.
Okay.
So 5.5. Like, look, my transfer of him was to get a higher, what I felt like was somebody who is
higher ceiling,
performing more consistently.
Okay,
that was Hwang. I liked the fixtures better
for Hwang,
for Hee-Chan, and it worked 1 week. It did not work the last 2 matches because they looked bad. Newcastle and Chelsea didn't look great for Everton, and that was the opposite of what happened in real life. Ducouré was the difference in both of those matches.
Yeah.
He has 11 big scoring chances this season. He is tied for 3rd among midfielders. Salah has 15, Bowen has 13, Ducouré's got 11.
Wow.
It's because he's outside the top 10. This is the most mind-blowing stat for him. He's outside the top 10 in total shots for the season. He's taken 28 shots. Fine, but he's not lighting the world on fire. But he's 7th for shots in the box. So this is what so he's got 28 total shots, 24 shots in the box. That's 85% of his shots are in the box. That percentage, only Thomas Souček, Hee-Chan, and Matoma have a better shot in the box percentage.
Wow.
And I just think the way when you see it every week, he's the last guy there. He's central.
Arriving late.
He's
definitely
in all the positions to clean up all the mess. Way more than Calvert-Lewin is, and he's basically occupying the same running positions that Calvert-Lewin is doing for the most part. Like he is such a good choice, and I don't like getting 1s and 2s from anybody, and that's what happened. He got like a 3, a 1, and a 2 or something like that, and I was like, I really gotta step this guy up. And then of course he goes 10-9 in the 2 weeks after that. So.
Against tougher matchups. So Brian, at this stage in the game, and Travis, I'm about to ask you the same. Would you rather have Ducouré or Hwang? I know you own Wang, and you sold Decore for Wang. So I know this is loaded. If you could free transfer right now, money not an option, matchups considered, where would you want to go, Decore Wang?
I still would take Wang.
Okay, Travis.
But
Same. But it's closer probably, Brian. That's what you want to say, right? It's closer than...
Well, look, like 2 games ago, when He-Chan scores the only goal for Wolves.
Yeah.
And you're looking at that and you're like, that's fantastic. Like you love getting a 10 from a guy. This week, he was basically non-existent. But when you see the lineup, you see that he's functioning as their striker. So a 5.6 striker for Wolves who are front foot. Like those guys are playing really good football.
Cunha and Wang is
right.
I'm pretty sure Travis has brought this up. That's who the goal when the goals happen. It's Cunha and Wang.
Right. So it's not because it's not like if it's one or the other, then that's why I moved to He-Chan. Okay. I'm just saying like the numbers are there. They've been like this.
If you went to Decore, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
No, not at all. No,
but
I would love to do it.
Yeah,
quickly, and I want to blast through this for Chelsea. Look, Brian, I think you alluded to it. Some people have gone to Sterling. Some people probably own Colwill as they brought him in last week, and then
Palmer.
I'm a Palmer owner.
Yep.
So I was a little disappointed with the matches this week. Look, I'm not expecting a ton from Palmer as he, for me, costs me currently, if I can only flip over and see that.
Palmer's the only guy in the Everton game who really, he took 5 shots.
Yeah.
You want the shooter. He outshot almost everybody else in the team.
I still like Palmer as a cheap own, but I
it's just the turmoil of the team. Like that's the whole thing with Chelsea.
You say turmoil, I would just say
inconsistency.
I would say consistent or inconsistency of the team.
Yeah, but even the way Poch is talking about it now, that's the thing. Like there's like no belief, and I don't know what it is. Like
they're a team in transition, and the expectations were high.
Well,
and then
the difference
to find out transition absolutely affects them.
The difference between, in my opinion, because I literally was thinking about this today. Like, why is I trust Pochettino as a manager. I believe he has a plan, but the difference between the way Arsenal has built their team and Liverpool, for the most part, the way they built their team, and in Pep, you could even say Manchester City with Pep, is the way Chelsea did it. Is they bought a bunch of good players for a ton of money, and then they bought the manager after they had the players and said do something with them. And Arsenal didn't do it like that. Liverpool did not do it like that. Neither did City. And for the most part, Newcastle hasn't done that. They brought in Eddie Howe first.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so, and Unai Emery to Villa, and Villa has been super smart in their additions over the past 2 or 3 seasons with Emery there. So I just feel like Chelsea has done it in a completely unconventional way. And Ange has come into Spurs, where Spurs already had all their players. And then Ange is just turning them into their system, but it wasn't a super young group that Ange is coming into. Like there were some young players, but they had some veteran players too. It was a good mix.
They're thin,
Chelsea
too.
is just wicked, with the exception of Thiago Silva, wicked young almost everywhere. A lot of players brought in for a lot of money, and I think Pochettino is just like they just handed him to Pochettino, and they pretty much said do something with them. And it's putting him in a bad spot, and that's why Chelsea's 12th in the table. And
they can't score goals to save their lives. If Nkunku
and they
isn't
have
hurt
the talent,
season,
they
would
just
it
Well, I was
can't
going to
gel.
say they're about to go through another transition because that striker who, the way they're talking about it, and you've seen the Nicholas Jackson performances at this point. Yeah, like that's another thing they're going to have to. That's the other thing they're going to have to.
I think they're both going to play, and I think they're going to be a handful. Jackson and Nkunku.
Yeah,
I think that is going to be a really, really interesting couple of game weeks watching them get settled.
I feel like Nkunku is going to be a little more clinical than Jackson.
I 100% agree with that. But Jackson passes the eye test because of the way that he plays. If he's in and around and there's trash floating around that you got a clinical striker that can pick up, they're going to start scoring goals. And Nkunku is that guy.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how they shape up moving into a period where Nkunku is healthy. So I'm not ready to sell on Chelsea's chances for the season. I think they will move up.
And the schedule's still, that's the thing. The schedule's still amazing for them.
Yeah.
At least on paper. But again, that's not, it doesn't mean anything. At this point, I think at this point you're looking at color ratings, and if you're going to see a lot of green, you're going to be inclined to go there. And like I think it was one of my, like, I was going into the weekend matches. I had banked a transfer. It's not all about me, but going after the weekend.
It's always about you.
I was seeing I'm seeing the schedule. I'm seeing the transfers in. I'm looking at Colwell for 4.5. I had Tyrick Mitchell. I had, I was like, I knew he was going to be out on the weekend. So I'm like, you know what? I should probably move to somebody. And I looked down and I'm like, Chelsea playing Everton is not good for Chelsea. These two teams are right now in opposite direction.
Yeah.
So I held off on the transfer for Colwell going into this game,
move.
And I banked it so that I could take a -4 and get rid of Julian Alvarez like a genius. It was really the smartest thing I've ever done.
Fine.
Speaking of Julian Alvarez,
but the point is, like, even in that,
he's
the
not
point
done.
is. No, I'm just saying, I think we talked about it, like, even, was it last week? Just said that Thiago Silva seemed like he was the most consistent. Like, he'd played almost every minute. He gets benched this week.
Yeah.
Cucurella got, I think, was he benched or did he get hurt? I think he got hurt in this
84th
one.
minute he came off.
Before.
Right. So either way, like, it all was bad because they lost 2-0. And, like, the point is, like, I just think it looked like a no-brainer. And I just think you have to really evaluate the teams when you're looking at it. Please stop looking at green. Please stop seeing green and saying that's
stop seeing green. Manchester City 2, Luton Town 1. The Fighting Lutes of Luton. Brian, your boy Elijah Adebayo scored in the 55+ second right before halftime. They're up 1-0 going into half. Everyone who is not a City fan is over the moon. Can Luton do it? They played Liverpool tough. They played Arsenal tough at home. Can they keep this going for a Holland-less City?
They really tried.
Do it. Bernardo Silva, 62nd minute, and then 3 minutes later, Grealish seals it, assisted Julian, the aforementioned Brian's favorite transfer out of the week, Julian Alvarez. City wins 2-1, which is unfortunate for everyone. And look, a lot of people would say that City's play without Doku and without Haaland in the lineup much more free-flowing. What say you guys?
I say that there was 18 shots to 4 and just 2 shots on target for Luton. So, of course, Manchester City has got to let one of those shots in.
Of course they do.
The
Fighting Lutes.
So the Holland news is the big news. All I need to know,
but it was not even close to the amount of time of the deadline.
All I need to know is that Pep is saying, he's insisting. First of all, don't ask me about whether it's a stress fracture. It's not a fracture. It's just stress. Maybe Crystal Palace, he will be ready.
Well, he's talking Club World Cup at this point, which is 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm not expecting. I guess I'm not expecting him to play. Almost everyone that's selling Haaland is buying one of the really cheaper dudes.
Well, if it was me, and I might this week, I'm not going to spend the Haaland money.
Right.
But if I was to sell him, I would sell him for Watkins and just keep the money, bank the money, and be ready to bring him back in. Like, I'm not going to spend that money so all of a sudden I'm going to make 2 or 3 transfers to bring Haaland back in. That's not going to happen. But for 1 week, if I don't have to burn anything else in other spots, why not? Why not just go straight Haaland to Watkins for 1 week and then just the next week?
Well, I was going to say,
if
you don't have Watkins, and that seems like an easy move. I just think so many people have Watkins at this point, and that was why I did what I did, was because I was trying to. I knew I needed the money to get from the that's assuming that Haaland was going to be fit. It was to get rid of Julian Alvarez
because you
as
wanted
the secondary option, so that it could be Haaland and Watkins.
Watkins' ownership is 39.7%.
Like a good sheet.
A lot.
I'm just saying, like going into game week 18.
We talked about that a good bit,
right? So yeah, that was the thinking behind it. But now, like, you know, you can find it right now. I'm sure the question of it's Fantasy Scout as popular pundit folks out there, you know.
So do we need to
what?
Do we need to beep that?
No, it's easy.
No,
it's easy. No, he just said he's selling Haaland because Haaland's dad sold Haaland.
Right.
Just thinking, like, if Haaland's dad is getting rid of him, then it's not a 1 week thing.
How do we get a live look in on Haaland's dad's lineup? Travis, do you have connections there? I know we've previously talked in this pod.
None that we'd be willing to set up and watch.
I feel like you could try to really make that happen if we really tried hard. All right.
We don't got that kind of budget.
Everyone was excited because Alvarez then is going to, you know, the feeling was he would function as their, you know, in place of Haaland.
Supposedly.
And he was good. I mean, he's been good all season. He was, you know,
he was man of the match. He didn't get any bonus points, obviously, right?
No, he did not. Just
statistically not great, but he was voted man of the match.
Alvarez is owned 29%, so there's still a good chunk of people that own him. Obviously, people own Alvarez or Haaland, and look, I'm telling you, I had owned Watkins for most of the season. I currently don't own him. Just a couple weeks ago, I sold him for Dom Solanke. Which has worked
an actual genius, man.
has worked out for me at the moment. But
Good for you.
Listen, Watkins continues to play well. It wasn't because Watkins' performance was waning. I needed to make some money in other places so I could get Hyun-Min Son in my lineup, which worked out for me this week. Look, I don't think anyone's gonna like Silva's goal this week. Does that make you go to him? Does Grealish's goal this week? I don't trust either one necessarily in their performances and or their minutes, and therefore I'm just not going near
I don't
them.
trust Grealish, and you can't say that about Bernardo Silva's minutes. Grealish I don't trust because Doku's injury is not that bad, so I'm not touching Grealish. Bernardo Silva has started every match since game week 8.
Okay.
So clutch again whenever Manchester City needs something clutch. It's Bernardo Silva.
Whatever they paid him, it
really
wasn't enough because they opened the pocketbooks for him. I don't think there's anything else to learn here from this match. Can we move on?
I just want to say that Bernardo Silva, since game week 8, has created 8 big chances and has an expected assists of 3.69.
It's one a week?
He's the number one midfielder for big chances created and for XA since game week 8.
I have some good knowledge there, Brian.
He's 6.4. And
that's reasonable.
It's very reasonable. This run of matches for Manchester City, like we said already, like if you could triple up on Manchester City, I think you would. Home to Crystal Palace,
probably
this Palace
this week, yeah.
So that's why I
triple up without Haaland though.
What happens if there's a training picture of Haaland on Thursday? What does that do?
I don't know, but I'm gonna wait. Right, I'm gonna wait. Brian.
There needs to be this in fantasy and in NFL football fantasy, especially
this is
fantasy
not a National Football League podcast.
There's an account on X, formerly Twitter. I don't know if you know.
Can we please still refer to it as Twitter? By the way, I've refused to update that app, so it still says Twitter on my phone.
It's a Coach Speak Index. It's a guy who goes through
and translates Coach Speak.
Translates the all coaches in the NFL based on what they're actually saying and the truthfulness. And
I love this. I don't follow this guy. I need to.
Awesome. The transparency of what they're saying. There needs to be that in the Premier
FPL.
League. But it's not. I don't know that it'll matter just because every manager lies. So, and then deciphering Pep when he's saying things like, don't ask me if it's a stress fracture. It's not. He could barely walk after Aston Villa, but then yesterday he told me, no, my foot, I feel a lot better, and he was walking just fine. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that where you're like, Pep's hyperbole with stuff like this is
nope.
There's no translation for it. It doesn't matter what he says. So that's what I mean. I wouldn't sell him now, is what I'm saying. That's me.
Holland.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I'm waiting. What if he's not training on Thursday, Brian?
If you need it and if you need to make the move, or if
I'm not losing money if I sell him because he hasn't gone up because the whole world owns him, right?
And it's going to take a lot of sales for him
price to drop.
So, yeah, and in a way, like, I don't love it that I would get like a lot of people. I'm going to get Cameron Archer off my bench if he doesn't play, or I could just start Cameron Archer. But why would I do that? I would put Holland in my lineup
in the case that he starts.
In the event that he does start against Crystal Palace. Right. I don't know. I just am really hesitant to. I'm really hesitant to sell at this point.
All right, next fun match should have been the match of the weekend. Honestly, probably was. Because the other match that I wanted to be match of the weekend kind of sucked. This match, Spurs 4, Brian. You're fighting Tottenham Hotspur Cox. They doing it 4-1 Newcastle. Come on.
So were you conflicted in this?
That's what everyone.
This was the Brian Shesko derby. Right here. Tottenham, Newcastle.
Did you cut your T-shirt in half and sew them together?
I did.
Good question.
I need to do that, actually.
Excellent question.
No, as soon as Son was fit, as soon as I knew that was happening, it's more of just what fireworks are going to ensue here.
Okay.
So, can Trippier get something? Because I was playing Trippier. I had Dubravka as my starting goalkeeper. Is the only goalkeeper I have now, which is hilarious after when we get to it. But no, it was first of all like holy crap, like Son's fit. Like
he looked like his leg was getting cut off last match.
Were they amputating? That's what everyone was asking. That sideline camera view that somebody posted. No, he's fit. In fact, 2 assists and scores the penalty goal and 17 points, and he's an untouchable midfield asset as long as he's fit.
2 assists, 1 goal.
End of Son discussion.
Now, look, I want to say this, Brian, real quick.
Go ahead.
This game was hilarious for me because not only was it late in was it the last game on Sunday? Is that right?
Last game of the game week.
So which was hilarious for me. I had an okay match week. It was fine. Mm-hmm. But Udogie continued to be in my team only because I had more pressing matters. Yeah. So he starts for me in this game. Awesome. So did Lascelles.
And you were so excited.
And so all of a sudden, like I was in a position I couldn't watch this game. At least I watched the second half. I did not watch the first half. And so I'm like, holy crap, are you kidding me? What kind of luck is this? Son assists Udogie for the first goal. And then Son ends up getting on the tail end and then has another assist to Richarlison. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, I ended up scoring a 72 this match week.
You hear that?
Which was...
Oh, I heard.
Which was crazy.
I have a feeling you'll hear more about it before the
I had to say, look...
Hey, he doesn't have Arsenal top of the table.
It's not often. It's not often where I'm probably in the top, I don't know, 5% of scorers in FPL this week. So... Yeah, like I'll take it.
That isn't often.
And yeah, exactly. And I kind of lucked into it, and I'll take it. I'll take the Udogie. I did have Alvarez. I had Solanke, and I had Son. I had Salah was my vice, as probably most people was. So ended up being a good match week for me.
Who's your vice?
I will take it.
We'll get there.
We will get there. I know where to direct us in order to get there.
So.
But Richarlison with a brace, Brian. What are we to believe with this? What is this?
So next we'll go. Yeah. Okay. So Richarlison, all he needed was groin surgery, and now he's the best striker in the league. You tell me what you make of this, okay? Because this is Ange Postecoglou's comments about Richarlison.
Wait a minute. Is this? Do I need to translate this?
Richarlison is healthy now. I think that's his best position through the middle. With Sonny, looking at the last few weeks, most of our chances and opportunities have fallen to the wide players. That is 100% true between Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, and then this match with
Agreed.
Son.
That's true. Because Brennan Johnson should have, again, gotten on the score sheet.
He says he's still our best finisher, and I thought getting him back on the left would give us some more avenues to score goals. as I said, Sonny set the tone early on, and I think the rest of the lads fed off of him. If this is Son playing on the left, this is kind of what nobody really wanted from him.
Right.
But
no, that's where he played with Kane.
But this game, the difference is when he played with Kane, who was taking penalties?
Kane was.
Son obviously taking penalties. Bruno G doing his best to almost get the penalty save here for Dubravka, and because he was pointing which direction he was going to kick it. But
is that right?
Yeah, you can see it.
Stop! I did not know that.
It's interesting.
Still, like that's what there are multiple accounts that said that too. Like Son, like they're for the Spurs' first penalty of the season. It's the first time.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that's why that's been the whole question.
Sonny's been this good, and this is his first pen.
One penalty for
Good
Spurs.
Lord.
This was it.
Well, he's been playing through the middle since he's been scoring.
Right.
But still, a Spurs first pen in 16 matches into the season seems crazy.
Listen, Richarlison's 6.6. So, yeah, you got to think about it. You have to. You have to rethink about it.
Is he going? I need to see some starts.
So yes, but
Is that fair?
If Ange is saying they know that Richarlison's best position is
through
playing
the middle.
centrally, playing through the middle, that's where he's going to be. This is Ange's team, and Ange has. He's kicked some of the lesser players to the curb. The Alistair Gold at Football.London said it about Richarlison's whatever this groin spur. Okay, I don't know what exactly it was, but whatever it was bothering him was enough that it was said of him that he was having trouble kicking, like swinging his leg through a kick. That's how painful whatever his issue was.
Are we sure he wasn't faking?
That issue is that's what this surgery. No, we're not. But I don't think he would get, unless if he's that committed to the bit that he would get surgery on.
If anyone is that committed, it is Richarlison.
Then yes, that is the greatest commitment in history, and he deserves a raise for doing that. No, that was the whole point, was to get this issue fixed. He comes back and he looked real good. Like Poro's assist to him was, first of all, unbelievable pass. Richarlison, unbelievable to bring it down and score it with ease. Like, I think you gotta reconsider it. If that's what's gonna happen with him, he's 6.6.
I don't know if I can make that happen.
I know.
I don't know if my stomach.
In other words,
exactly. It's a real serious stomach move. But man, oh man, that is a move.
I believe I owned 2 Spurs early in the season. It was Madison, and I think it was Madison and Son. So I don't hate that, especially the way Spurs have been playing. I don't hate that at all. I'm looking at my team, and I just don't know if I can make the money work, because if I were to sell Haaland at least for one match week, I wouldn't want to spend that money. Brian, Pedro Porro, you've mentioned multiple times. Mm-hmm. 4 out of the last 5 weeks. 5-5.
Just on the
0,
attack,
5-5.
just to wrap up the attack, Brennan Johnson was awesome in this game.
Brennan Johnson was close. He's
awesome.
Doing his best Darwin, although I actually trust probably Brendan Johnson to score sooner than Darwin will.
Brennan Johnson at least has had some returns in the last week.
I agree, and I like him as a player.
Created 3 chances, 1 big chance created. Spurs created like 6 big chances in this game.
Yeah.
Like everyone could have had more of a return. Kulishevsky was awesome, but no, he hit the woodwork twice. Brennan Johnson twice hit the woodwork. So just want to say that, like, Son and Brennan Johnson and Kulishevsky with a functional Richarlison, that is so good. I mean, that is so good. Spurs backs. Porro gets the assist, like we said. Thanks a lot, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, for the error that led to the Joe Linton goal. Fantastic that he came off the bench to provide that for everybody.
Yeah, I lost Udogi's clean sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Udogi gets you a bonus point with his goal.
Quickly, look, I've held on to Udogi.
Although, Dave, he is now new long-term contract Spurs left back. Destiny
today.
Udogi.
That happened today.
So you don't know what you're going to get now.
I know. He got his bag, as the kids say. And now I don't know what
they
to
said
think.
like 10 years ago.
Dave,
no, Travis, that's not true. All right. I'm hip to the slang, Travis.
The numbers, Dave, still skew heavily in favor of Pedro Porro.
100. My point being,
Udogie will never be a bad pick as long as he's fit.
So is it worth this? It's not worth a sell. Is it worth a sell? Is it worth moving him?
No.
Just because all of a sudden he gets one return?
So it's his first goal for Spurs. I mean, that's the first thing. Again, I will say it forever. If you're buying a defender because he scored a goal, you're not buying for the right
Agree.
reason.
Porro, if you don't own one, Porro's the move. I'm in the Udogie world, and he's
I'm
4.8 to 5.4.
I'm saying if you
significant
can't,
money.
That's 0.6, and if you can't afford Porro, how could you be mad about going to Udogie? It's never going to be a bad thing.
What about Romero? Yellow card Romero.
No.
So here, just all right. So after Udogie got his red card suspension and missed the Wolves game, since he's come back, so it's game week 13 since he's come back.
Okay.
It's Porro 15, Udogie 11. So there's your points in that amount of time.
Okay.
So it's again a little bit in favor of Porro. Yeah. What you're getting is in that time, Porro has taken 12 shots and Udogie's taken 2.
Right.
So, which by the way, 12 shots is number 1 overall for defenders.
Defense out. Yeah.
Porro's had 3 shots on target and Udogie's got 1, which is this goal.
Yeah.
3 on target, by the way, is tied for the most of any defender. Porro's got 9 shots in the box. Udogie's got 2.
Oh, wow.
9 shots in the box, by the way, is number 1 for any defender.
Okay. I see where you're going with this.
Udogie's had 2 big chances to score, though, and Porro's had 0.
Okay. Interesting.
2 big chances to score, Dave, you might be surprised to find out, is tied for the most of any defender in that amount of time.
I actually am surprised about that.
Porro has 18 touches in the opposition box, and Udogie's got 9. You might be surprised to hear this, but 18 touches in the box is
That's
most for
double.
any defender. Yes, double.
Jeez.
It's double Udogie, and it's the number
Travis
1
double
of any
is
defender.
Double doggy.
Double dog. He got double dog.
Porro's created 13 chances, and Udogie's created 3. You might be actually surprised to find out that 13 chances created is actually the second most chances created since game week 13. Trent's got 15 chances created. And then Porro has created 4 big chances.
Okay.
Udogie 0. 4 big chances created is number 2 overall for defenders. Only Trent has created more, and he's created 5. The point being, both are good options. I don't know how else to say this. Pedro Porro is the number 1 attacking back. And it's for most of the stats, it's him by a bit.
Well, but I mean, if you're buying a defender for attacking returns, then you're doing it wrong. I heard somebody say that one time.
I'm saying comprehensively. I'm saying comprehensively. But and I would say too, 15 points since game week 13.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's
not a ton.
He is by far the defender to own, not just for Tottenham, but probably overall. Right now,
at this moment,
he is on fire.
All right, Newcastle.
Hey, Christian Romero is an absolute time bomb. Christian Romero, why he wasn't sent off again in this game, absolutely mystifying.
Yep.
That guy, what a lunatic.
Nut job.
Who was it? Was it a Neville or was it a Redknapp? Somebody said it this week about him that
Neville.
He has no intention of slowing anyone down. He only wants to tackle.
Yeah.
Like his instinct is to only lunge at people. And then he's
crazy.
Like, what he did, who was on the ground? Was it Joe Linton? Like, what are you doing? Stupid. Just
totally.
a nonsense player who's great when he's good, and when he's like any other time, like who knows what he's going to do. What a lunatic.
Well, I'm with you 100%. Newcastle. Isak, Wilson, neither one get anything here.
They got to be tired. They have to be.
Are they?
Oh, they got to be.
They are shot. You kidding me?
Are you sure they're tired?
They're shot.
The charred corpse of Kieran Trippier thankfully got his 5th yellow. There's no one happier to be on a yellow
5th
card.
yellow than
to be on a yellow card suspension.
He can finally get a break.
Yeah.
And he's out of a match against Fulham. That has to be a good thing for them at this point.
The red hot 5-0 Fulham will get to them.
Yeah. Lascelles, you have Lascelles. He looked a bit gimpy there on the first goal, but he played 90. He played 90 minutes.
He got 90. He grinded it out.
Gordon, I think, is unlucky here. He created a huge chance.
Gordon was away. Remember, away Gordon does not score.
True, but
home
still,
Gordon
he did create.
Scores.
He did have a chance at a return here, and it didn't happen. Isak, unlucky also, I think. Callum Wilson is back. I mean, I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
Yeah, of course you
But
did.
he also looked like he got dinged up a little bit.
He's back, but he also has a red triangle.
Yeah.
Already. 25% chance of playing.
He's almost as lucky as Reece James.
Like, what the heck?
Gordon is home to Fulham next week.
Yeah.
Gordon is back. You got home Gordon against Fulham, then they're at Luton and home Forest. Home form Gordon, give me that 2 of the next 3 weeks. Give me that guy regardless of what else is going on.
I agree.
I don't have anything else. I do have Dubravka as my backup keeper.
They're shopping another keeper
and I will be probably playing Dubravka the next couple weeks as Raya's got a little
he may or may not be injured.
I was going to say, the worst news about the whole thing is Dubravka. A lot of people sharing the story from reporter Daniel Wales, who's saying that Dubravka is nursing a hidden shoulder injury.
Hidden.
Also says that Newcastle is assessing all available options. Loris Karius just sitting there, but of course everyone keeps saying that the best available option is David De Gea. Daily Star, for what it's worth, I don't know how much.
It's not worth anything.
But just that Sam Johnston was another name that had popped up on.
That's not going to help him now.
Exactly.
Aforementioned injured.
Not anymore.
So calf is gone. Sam Johnston, Travis.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're going to get. I would love to know. Now that you guys say that, I'm really curious to know about Callum Wilson because not that it's surprising that he's injured. I just.
All right, let's get to the match.
Does he has a triangle?
Let's
right
get
now?
to the match that I want.
I'm just saying.
I wish was match of the week.
What I was going to say is, of course, Callum Wilson comes back for 2 seconds and he gets the assist in a game where Isak barely misses thanks to Ben Davis's toe, doesn't score a goal in this one too.
Hey, I'm cashed by the way, and he does not have a red triangle right now. It was from
before.
Last week.
Yeah, I would. And so what I'm saying is, now that
old tab open.
Callum Wilson is back, I would definitely not be going anywhere near Isak. No way.
Really?
Well, thanks for telling me that because I still have him, and I was thinking about moving him, but I decided not to.
So here's the thing. I'm saying
I'm not moving him.
I'm saying that because Callum Wilson himself has said it. Eddie Howe himself has said it. Like, they can't have the striker playing 90 minutes. They're not going to do it. And they've rotated them. And I don't that's what I'm saying. Callum Wilson can.
They're too thin to.
Isak's the one been playing all the minutes until this.
He's going to get a break. There's whether it's limited minutes in the next match or an actual benching and sitting.
The next 3 matches, I would take limited minutes Isak over a lot of people.
There are probably goals in the Fulham match.
I'm there.
And then the match. That's why I was going to say that's why I'm saying about Kieran Trippier. Like, if you have him, why are you selling him? Just bench him. Look at the matches that he'll come back for. I would way rather have him rested, like a week off, coming back for those matches than selling him for, like, especially because you have to go so much more money to go from him to Trent. If you're doing that, I get it. It's not a crazy move. It's just a lot of money whenever it's one game. Just eat the one game.
All right. Fulham 5 in the surprise of the weekend. West Ham 0. Raul Jimenez, William Adarabio, Harry Wilson, Travis, your boy, and Carlos Vinicius. So, Fulham.
This pronunciation brought to you by the Cigar Lounge.
No kidding. Back-to-back 5-0 wins.
Smash.
Fulham. Seriously, the surprise of the weekend for me, Brian, am I crazy to think that Bowen gets you nothing?
It's surprising because Adarabioyo has played. He started. This is courtesy of WhoScored.com. He started 2 matches and won both of them 5-0. So that's maybe the surprising thing.
I think the biggest thing is Joao Paulinho was back in the lineup for Fulham, in these matches, and I think that is possibly the spark
that has
fueled them over the past 2 match weeks. Look, anytime someone sees Fulham on the schedule, they're going to be looking at it and just like, bring it on. Let's go. Can't wait for that. And I just think
not anymore.
I don't think you want any part of it now. Defensively,
this is a Fulham team that is ready to go. You're getting peak Jimenez at the moment, who in the last 2 weeks have given you a 13 and a 9. I just think this is wild. And Fulham's upcoming schedule: they're at Newcastle, home Burnley, at Bournemouth, and then they're home Arsenal.
Fulham at Craven Cottage. How about this stat? 9.4 shots allowed at home per game for Fulham.
Seems like a lot.
That's a lot.
No, it is not. It is 4th best in the league. They allow 9.4 shots.
Just shots in general, not shots on target?
Right.
Okay.
So 9.4 shots allowed per game at Craven Cottage, 4th best in the league. It's like Arsenal and Manchester City are like 7 shots and 7.1 shots allowed at home.
Okay.
So they are unbelievable.
Craven Cottage seems to be a fortress.
Compared to when they're away, they allow 15.4 shots.
Holy moly, that's significant.
Per game. So, yeah, just the weirdest thing. So that's why I'm saying, like, at Newcastle, I think, yeah, of course, Newcastle, St. James, way better there. They will be happy to be at home. And Fulham, yeah, they're for what I don't know what I can't go recent numbers. I can only give you the comprehensive season statistics so far. So yeah, like at Burnley, I mean, do you have a Fulham defender playing against Burnley at Craven Cottage?
Fulham's defense have
like
come up
that.
with 2 clean sheets the last 2 weeks, which is crazy. And look, it was against Forest and West Ham, which I'm not saying have the staunchest offenses, but they're not slackers either.
I just think their attacking form kind of throws everything out the window the next 4 weeks. Even Arsenal, like, you don't love Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal's awesome. Defensively, like I said, one of the top. They're 1 or 2 in almost every meaningful defensive category for the season. You don't like, if you're Arsenal, you don't want to play this buzzsaw.
No.
I don't think I want anything to do with it.
Ryan, tell me about Bowen. What was your experience with Bowen this week? I'm going to get up real quick because I need to go take care of something. I'll be right back. Tell Travis what you told me and your experience with Bowen this past week.
Story time for me. Travis,
So
you can listen.
Oh boy!
So I slept through my alarm again. I woke up at 6:14. Deadline was at 6 a.m. here. I don't know when I did it. I genuinely don't remember. All I know is I ended up with Jared Bowen as my vice captain this week. So the answer to your question is Jared Bowen.
Over there.
Did he go into a freezer or
I don't know what he's doing.
Did he dive into like a cooler full of ice? No, I vice captain Jared Bowen, or that's where it ended. When I refreshed my, because I use Fantasy Football Fix, the app, just for the live statistics during the game week, and when I refreshed it in the morning, it was showing it as the exact same thing that I had last week, which was captain Son, vice captain Salah. And so I was like...
You were like, this is awesome. Best day ever.
In the morning on Saturday, I was screaming because I'm like, great, I don't even know if Son's fit. Son might not even be playing. And now, like, that's not... I'm like, I would have captained Holland. He's
so did you celebrate because you thought you got Son's points?
So then, no. So Saturday goes on, the thing refreshes, and I looked and I'm like, oh, I actually did make some changes. I had captained Holland. But then I'm like, why is my vice captain on Jared Bowen? When did I do that?
It's probably because of moving somebody from the bench to your lineup.
I don't. It might have been.
Yeah.
I just know whatever it was, it happened. And so then of course the Holland news breaks. There's already the result of Liverpool and Crystal Palace, and I'm like, unbelievable. Like the whole effing world is gonna get vice captain Salah, except for me.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, please, anything from Jared Bowen. Please, even an assist. I will take anything. And of course, Jared Bowen's away form. It had to end at some point.
I guess.
And of course, it happened in a game where he took 4 shots, had 3 shots on target, had a big chance to score himself, created 1 big chance, ended with an expected FPL points of 5.96. Thank you for the 2. It makes me feel a lot better.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
I don't think it does make him feel better.
Last 2
story time over.
The last 2 deadlines you've slept through.
It sounds like you need to get some more rest.
Like I don't want to do like. There's stuff that happens at deadlines, and I'm like, I know I'm waiting late. I'm holding it till the last second. I know it's stupid. I don't want to get up that early. But there's things that happen. Sometimes it matters. And so, yeah, I didn't do it. And this is idiotic.
The bummer of being in America.
And the score wasn't bad despite all of this week. And it's just like, what was I doing? When did I do that? Anyway.
You leaving?
Not going anywhere. Just got a little chill. Chill going on. All right. Real talk here. This is a Premier League podcast. Raul Jimenez.
Yeah.
Is he worth a transfer? Let's real talk about this. Because
yes, he's worth a transfer.
People are going to be thinking about this. Would you do it?
He started the last 5 matches. In the last 5 matches, he is 34 points, which is number 1 forward scorer.
Wow.
Number 1 in forward scoring. 4 goals, tied with Dominic Solanke for number 1. That's your question. Jimenez is 5.2. I think that's the thing that is just like, are you kidding? That guy?
Solanke's 6'6" current.
Right.
I have him at a 6'5", but he's 6'6" current.
Between Solanke, who's now expensive, Cunha at 5.6, or maybe he's 5.7,
he went up.
And Jimenez at 5.2. Yeah, you have some decisions to make.
Would you rather own Alvarez or Jimenez?
Alvarez, but I think that's just a City bias.
Yeah, probably me too. Would you rather have Jimenez over one of the Newcastle guys?
Yeah, I would count on him starting. I just would not. It's just so
do
risky.
you like the Fulham offensive thing going on?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Look. I mean, find a Fulham player who didn't get a return in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they spread out.
What about
it was pretty
Cunha?
spread out.
Would you rather have Jimenez or Cunha? That's a good.
That is a good
comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a coin flip.
I would tend to agree.
That's the thing.
On current form,
there's not one name. I feel like we're back to where we were a few weeks ago, where if you threw all the names in a hat and picked one, you had to take whoever you get. You'd probably be fine with it.
Stupid good for the last 5 match weeks.
I do like. I mean, Jimenez like the numbers are fine. It's just that he's a quality. Like we knew he was a quality player prior to his injury. It took him a while to get back to form, and I think everybody's rooting for him. And so the fact that he's doing he's refinding form is good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to count on it all the time? We know Willian's on penalties, so it's not like something that he might take him if Willian ends up being, because Willian got subbed out early here.
Yeah.
I would guess he's
maybe
next.
Jimenez.
I would guess he's next
because he's taken him before, probably. But I mean, that's a total contingency plan. But
all right,
yeah, I think that
was my last question.
It's
on that
worth.
match.
It's worth a. I mean, it's definitely worth a thought. Like, look, everyone else Willian scored a goal in this match too. Like 3 goals and an assist in his last 4 games. So,
he's been hot. I'm not touching him.
He's 5.3. Alex Iwobi has been huge the last 4 game weeks. So just an assist this week, but still, like, he's a top.
I guarantee he's 0.8% owned Iwobi, and probably the same thing for Willian. Willian might be he might have made it to 1%, but look, I'm not ready to go there, but. You know what? If someone was there and not had Cole Palmer over the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you who was giving you a return and who wasn't.
Yeah, it's just this form. I mean, it's like, if you had jumped on, even if you had jumped on Bournemouth you like you did. You jump on Solanke weeks ago. I mean, you're thrilled. You could have had Solanke all season. Like we talked about. I'm just saying, like this is like at this point, like I don't know what else you need to see. Like I just don't know what else you like.
All right.
Like I said, Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth, Arsenal. Those 4 matches, Newcastle away has tended to be not good. This current, right this second, Newcastle that's gotten walked on the last 2 matches, not great. So you probably liked your chances a lot more now than you did a few weeks ago for Fulham. Fulham home to Burnley, you love that. Absolutely love that matchup. At Bournemouth, there's goals there.
Yeah.
So, and then Arsenal, that closes out your year, and that's like the worst at that point. I don't know. Maybe you move on or something like that. But at least for the next 3 weeks, if you were moving to it, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Arsenal 0.
Just want to say too, I don't think you're going to see Aaron Cresswell starting for West Ham again anytime soon.
Who?
Aaron Cresswell.
I know. I
can't believe he's on the team.
Deserve to who? Arsenal 0. Aston Villa 1. 4th in the table. Might as well be 3rd in the table. Aston Villa gives Arsenal the business. They beat him 1-0 thanks to a John McGinn assisted by Brian's favorite Leon Bailey in the 7th minute.
Wild.
Can't get enough.
What is my favorite is that once again Zinchenko was responsible for the mistake that led to this goal. Travis, it is getting completely insufferable as an Arsenal fan to continue to watch Zinchenko make mistakes that give up direct goals.
You made the statement his good qualities do not outweigh his negative ones. You mean that?
I mean that. I absolutely.
You're not going to expand on that?
I'm just saying. I don't think. So Tomiyasu wasn't available this match week. I think if he was, I think it's him, Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. That's what I would do. I also want to mention this because, in fairness to Zinchenko, 40 seconds before this goal happened, Saka missed an absolute Sterling-esque sitter.
Yeah,
and. So
his shot map in this, like his chances are awesome. They're exactly what you want.
So I will say, look,
him and Odegaard.
Villa wins this match. Do they win it statistically? No. No. Arsenal wins it completely statistically. Arsenal, in my opinion, gave this match away. They had plenty of chances. Saka had 2 that were amazing. Odegaard had 2. Jesus had 1. Those 5 chances alone should have won them the match somewhere in there. Not to mention, I'm not gonna dwell on this because this wasn't the difference in the match because Arsenal should have won it in regular time. But Jesus got kicked under the leg in the box as he was trying to
give him before.
Absolutely, and it wasn't given. Again, I'm not going to, whatever. That happens on a regular basis now. You never know what's a penalty, what's not. Arsenal had plenty of other chances to score. Travis, they didn't get it done. And,
I mean, they did, but that handball call as well.
On the Havertz handball is, I think everyone.
But that was I'm not going to cry river over that either.
5 people's hands in
a
span of
it hit Matty Cash's hand first.
No, I think everyone's pretty satisfied that was called correctly.
Right. I didn't flinch about that, but as Travis, you have alluded to,
Arsenal fans are not.
You never know what's going to be called anymore.
It's all over the place.
I'd almost forgotten about it, Brian. But I mean, you're right. That could have gone either way, I guess. At this point.
And the other
100%
call,
yes.
The other call was there was a elbow. I think
the Douglas Luiz elbow on
Nketiah. Yeah.
So I just don't know. That elbow. How's that elbow not?
It was a lot stronger than I just thought.
How
it was
can you
just
be running down the pitch and just decide to give someone?
They were standing still.
An elbow.
That was the weird part. It was just he saw the referee's head was turned, and he just
another cue. If anyone out there thinking Douglas Luiz might end up on the Arsenal lineup after January, not happening now.
That was a Liverpool Douglas Luiz, not an Arsenal Douglas Luiz.
I don't know.
So, anyways, all that being said, they lose the game, and regardless of what should have happened or could have happened, Arsenal had chances. Villa was a better team, and they deserve the win. So I hate it, but it was the first time this season where Arsenal was just completely not clinical, and it wasn't just like on one chance. It was 4 or 5 chances, and you lose games when you don't do that.
Yeah.
So, and Villa's a good team.
Yeah,
And they play
are
great.
a good team.
And kudos to them. Back-to-back weeks, they beat City Arsenal 1-0, 1-0. The two best defenses statistically, I think, are close to it in the league, Brian. And kudos to them.
I was going to say clean sheets all around for Aston Villa. Nothing more hilarious than last week. I thought nothing was more hilarious than last week when Villa got their first clean sheet in any meaningful game for like 20 weeks against Manchester City, only to follow that up by
with another
getting a
clean sheet
against Arsenal.
I mean, they passed the walking through the fire to prove that they belong test.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. In top 4? Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, they were extremely good. And I think they're just an impressive team. They are way more impressive at home than they are on the road. I mean, this is the same Aston Villa team that dropped
After
points
16 weeks,
to Bournemouth just a few weeks ago.
After 16 weeks, they're above City in the table. So
it's tough.
Yeah.
John McGinn goal, fine, not an FPL.
He did the figure mask.
No, he that's his thing though. It's not the same as the Ashley Barnes. That's what you hate. He did that I can't even do it because of arthritis. No, John McGinn does that thing, but it's there's something about that.
No, he didn't do it that way.
This is the hard hitting analysis.
I'm so glad we have this on video now.
It's the
stupid.
The explanations everybody's looking for. It means something. I'm just not sure. No, he's on pace to shatter his previous best FPL season. Not that you're picking him. It's just that he had 114 points in 2020. And he's on 66 right now. So I think
look at Johnny McGinn.
I think he might get to 120 this year.
Look, this match I don't think changes anything Arsenal wise, and for Villa, I own Douglas Luiz. He's red carded next match. Because of the 5 yellows accumulation.
Did we ever get
I don't know what to do with him.
Matty Cash?
No,
you sell him.
Louise.
Douglas Luiz, you probably hold.
Just hold.
So this is what I was going to say. Did we ever do a podcast guess about how many returns Ollie Watkins was going to get in City and Arsenal? I know I asked the question.
And you tried to get us to bet about it.
I thought I asked over under 1.5 total goal involvements. So I hope you bet the under in whatever we did.
I think I said under. But you had stats that said against Arsenal he had a very good record.
Right, he had scored however many previous matches he had scored in 4 of the last 6 or something like that. Either way, he wasn't. He was there, but it's not. I don't feel like there was
busy occupying defenders. I mean that's been his MO for the last couple of weeks specifically.
I'm just saying now they got through the 2 matches where you're like, I can afford to not have him, and now it's Villa.
It's gonna be
different.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the other question that we didn't I don't think we ever got answers on was on the Villa side, Dave, or on the Arsenal side, because I was gonna say did we ever get a bet on clean sheets for Arsenal in this run of? Because I know I asked that too. How many clean sheets
Travis
Arsenal
would have to. There's no way I remember.
I would have had to have put
I'm not
any
a smart
bet that we
man.
have going is in
how
the
many
Slack.
clean sheets was between Arsenal's matches between Aston Villa and when they play Liverpool. Now I want to re-ask that question so you can bet on it for real this time. How many clean sheets will Arsenal get between Brighton, their matches against Brighton and Fulham? So it's Brighton at home, at Liverpool, home West Ham, and then Fulham away.
2 clean sheets.
Over under 1.5.
Okay, I say over.
Oh my gosh. Our last bet.
I say over.
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at the bets. Our last bet was the Grapes thinks Rodri will outscore either Foden or Doku between now and the end of the calendar year.
Yeah. That one's
Shesko takes fall down.
Is that
it's Foden or Doku, and I've got Foden or Doku.
I think you're probably on pace. I think
that's actually really close.
I need a Rodri goal next match is what I need.
I'm doing okay on that one right as we sit here. No, do you take the under?
I wasn't listening. I don't know what the premise is.
How many clean sheets for Arsenal between Brighton and Fulham? The matches they have between Brighton and when they play Fulham, which is Brighton at home, Liverpool away, West Ham home, at Fulham. Will Arsenal get 2 clean sheets in there?
That's a good number.
I say over.
I
say 2.
Let me give you.
I think I think they could, but that's not a guarantee.
It's been a little while since they've had a clean sheet.
I know you're looking at West Ham and thinking they surely have one there.
Home. I'm looking at West Ham at home, though.
Arsenal hasn't kept a clean sheet against West Ham since 2021.
Declan Rice,
and in that match, Soufal had a red card. That was in 2020. Since 2021, West Ham Arsenal scores have been 3-3, 2-0. Arsenal won that one. 2-1 Arsenal, 3-1 Arsenal, 2-2, and then the last match they played 3-1 West Ham.
All of those Declan Rice for West Ham.
Yeah. Jared Bowen scored in 4 of the last 6 matches against Arsenal.
Well.
I'm just saying, are they going to keep one against Brighton?
Probably.
Yes.
Out of
you think?
Out of each of those, that's the most likely one for them to keep.
All right.
Keep a clean sheet against.
So you're saying you agree with Dave that you think it's going to be over
I know this. The Liverpool Arsenal match
2 is the number.
Never a clean sheet. It is
they play 2
open. Historically the most scored on and or in match head to head in the history of the Premier League, that the Arsenal-Liverpool match.
Okay.
So there will be goals in that one. So I'm just looking at 3. Can I get 2 clean sheets out of the other 3 matches? I think yes.
I'm thinking Brighton, West Ham, Fulham, probably there's a chance of a clean sheet there. Fulham is hot. It is.
Are you willing to buy an Arsenal defender going into this run?
Wait.
I do own an Arsenal goalkeeper, and I do own an Arsenal defender. Would I buy one going into this run?
I don't think I would. I don't think I would buy one going into this run.
I think there's probably better options, maybe somewhere else.
Are you really risky. Buying Gabriel or Saliba going into this run of matches?
Number one, you should already own Saliba.
Yeah.
Should you?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For what?
For the number 3 fantasy scorer all season? Why wouldn't you? It goes Trippier, Alexander-Arnold, Saliba, Anderson, Mikalenko, then Ben White, Zinchenko. That's your top 7.
Yeah, you should have had
Saliba. 3 out of the top 7.
Ben White would be the one you would move to.
You should have Saliba all season long so that you could have accumulated all of those points.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Yes. Yeah, 100%.
You're saying if you didn't own Saliba, which has an ownership of 35.3%,
yes.
If you're in the other 65% of people who don't own Saliba, would you go to him right now?
Yes.
Is he the best 5.5 option? I would probably rather own Pedro Porro over the next 4 match weeks than Saliba.
I would agree with that.
I guess what I'm saying is if you have a time machine and you can go back and put the highest scoring players in, then absolutely go back.
I would rather own
for this group. Yeah, she should already own him.
As fast
but
as you possibly
Brian,
can.
If you don't already
own Pau Torres over the next 4 match weeks than Saliba.
That sounds like a bet.
So I'm just saying, I hear you. I hear you. Now I'm cherry picking 2 teams out of the top 5. defenders out of the top 5. But I like Villa's matchups over the next
I was going to
4
say,
match weeks, and I like Tottenham. So
if you wanted to do an alternate bet on that, Dave, you could do the exact same thing. How many clean sheets are Aston Villa going to have in their next 5 matches?
More than Arsenal. More than Arsenal. No question. We're on the same page, he and I.
Right. Brentford, Sheffield, Manchester United, Burnley, Everton.
Sheffield at home,
Although
Burnley
3
at
of
home.
those are away. Brentford, so that's a Brentford team with no Embuemo. Newly resurgent Sheffield, for sure. But
really?
It's at home. They'll
but
fine.
Sheffield's also attempted 98 shots all season, which is the worst by a good bit. Nottingham Forest is second worst with 110 shots.
Oh, wow. That's really bad than 98.
Right. So 98 is Sheffield for the season. Villa also, they play Manchester United at Villa Park. And Manchester United can't do anything, right? And then they play Burnley, and Burnley's third worst for shots in the season. 111 shots.
United at Old Trafford.
Yeah, sorry. My fault.
All right.
Still, they can't do anything.
Travis,
right?
I have a question for you. Are you selling Saka?
I don't own him currently.
If you owned him, would you sell him?
Probably.
Brian?
Because it gets me to Son if I don't own Son.
I don't.
Really?
Don't have
Neither
him.
one of you own him.
I
would. So
he's one of those guys that's like.
I know you don't like his stats because he's been Obama-Yanging for a while.
No, he just feels like one of those people that everyone has. Look, this is one tangent, real quick. Just that the discussion of I've seen multiple people ask the question of, is this game even fun? And FPL Mate had just said it.
I saw that too.
Did you see it?
Everybody has the same team.
Everyone has the same team. All the same people get the same kind of returns. The fun part of this is just, I don't know. This is exactly why. Whenever I'm looking at it and I'm like, everyone's getting Levi Colwill, and I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm shoehorned into getting Levi Colwill. Why do I want a guy like that on my team?
Yeah.
Having two game weeks ago, midweek, switching the captain to Heung-min Son was the most alive I've felt in this game for a really long time.
I think I sent you some funny
right
memes
into his veins
when he texted me, "I'm captaining Son."
Oh my gosh! It's the most excited I was. Finally, I'm doing something that's not template. I want to do something different. So
I
that's
got some balls.
Well, no. Every time there's a player,
I feel like I just had groin surgery.
Well, you got to get that guy, and
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to get. Do I really want to? I want to ride a sheep straight to Cole Palmer's house? I don't. I really don't.
Interesting.
And then it's not just about Chelsea, and I think that's why I had Saka. I got rid of him when it looked like he was injured. Turns out he's not injured. When that happened, I just never went back because I think it was players like Son and Bowen and players like that where you're just those guys are just ticking along. They're doing just as in a way just as good or better.
We have made it to the quick fire section of the pod. I'm going to list through some names, and we are quick firing through them. Bournemouth 3, Manchester United 0.
I saw some stuff about your team.
Brighton, I'll let you dive back into this quick fire. We don't have to talk about this. I'm just mentioning it.
Okay.
Brighton 1, Burnley 1, Sheffield 1, Brentford 0, Wolves 1, Forest 1. The floor is totally open.
Hang on. Bournemouth United. Not only do I want to acknowledge that happened, I also want to shout out. Do you have any numbers on Senesi, Brian?
I do.
Because that guy is on a tear.
So,
an absolute tear.
Kudos
Super
to
cheap.
Brian brought in Senesi before this match week.
No, I did not.
Really?
You got to remember, this guy, he talks and talks
Wait
and
a
talks,
minute.
but he doesn't actually do what he says.
No.
Truth be told, I truly thought you brought him in before this match.
I didn't
week.
get him ahead of the match week
Oh,
because he had a goal. Because he had a goal midweek, and a Bournemouth central defender goal is about the most ignorable single statistic
That's
that you
fair,
could have.
but I thought you were on one.
It's
and
just that
had him before this match week.
It's just he followed it up with another goal.
That's weird.
Senesi's had sporadic appearances until game week 12. Since then, he's started every match. Among defenders, he's got 36 points. He's second only to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know these are all arbitrary weeks of when they start. It's when they start playing and doing well. Senesi has started every match for Bournemouth since game week 12, 36 points in that time. He has scored 2 goals. He has 2 shots on target. That's my favorite thing about scoring goals ever, is when you shoot twice and you get 2 goals. Yeah. Of course, that's repeatable. He has 3 yellow cards in his last 5 matches. Not ideal. So, to me, it feels like with Senesi, it's just that it doesn't matter because Bournemouth is the form team in the league right now. And
even more so than Fulham?
Yeah, because Fulham's lost twice in their last 5, and Bournemouth has not.
All right.
And Senesi's 4.3. For now, he's going to go up to 4.4. So they have Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and Tottenham to finish up the year. Guess what he's better than? Injured Tyrick Mitchell, who's playing like the worst possible teams in the Premier League in the next 4 game weeks.
Okay.
I don't want anything to do with the Crystal Palace defense.
Yeah.
I will take Bournemouth playing Luton at home. Like, at least there's a chance there.
Heard, Chef. And
so
shout out to the Bear.
Anyways. You could do that. Like we just said, with Aston Villa's schedule is pretty good. There are some people in there. If we really wanted to go back, I would advocate for waiting a week and getting Luka Dean whenever he comes back. I still have Luka Dean. Okay. And his numbers are fantastic. And I would like to go back to that at some point. But no, Senesi like 4.3. There's nothing bad about that.
Anyone else other than Solanke, which obviously should get some mention. I mean, is Travis, you early on in the year, Semenyo.
Can you respect Solanke by referring to him properly as 4th highest scoring forward for this season?
Ryan,
Dominic Solanke.
I feel like as much trash as I talked earlier about him, me currently owning him should have some form of cred that I get. Like, it's my way of taking it all back, right?
Okay.
I currently own him. In fact, you want to hear something funny? I was watching the game on mute, and I thought Dom got a second goal.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Because the other tall guy.
It was the other tall guy that looks exactly like him from distance, Philip Billing.
Yep.
Daggone it. So I was a little let down. I was happy that Dom got a goal, but I was let down when I saw that, of course, it was Philip Billing.
Solanke should have had a brace anyway.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I missed that earlier chance.
Dominic Solanke is top 4 in every attacking statistic for all forwards for the season. He is a top 4 striker choice. He is, and by points, Julian Alvarez is there, and I think it's a real question of whether you would want to have Julian Alvarez or Dominic Solanke for the remainder of the season. Just because what you're getting from Solanke, I think, attacking-wise, is more stable. It's the difference between a creative forward and an actual kicking the ball into the net forward, and Solanke is that. Alvarez is by far the most creative. We talked about it last week. By far the most creative forward. But I just don't know how much the goals are going to happen with him. So you're more likely to get an assist from Alvarez than a goal. You're more likely to get a goal than an assist from Solanke. I think the points have evened out. Like, they're real close in scoring.
I like that.
So it's just kind of whatever. It's kind of how much you believe. Who do you believe in and why?
Travis, if you could match a wave. If you could match a wave. If you could wave a magic wand. If you could wave a magic wand, you do not have a magic wand. If you could wave one and turn Darwin into Solanke, would you rather have Darwin or Solanke on your team, physical Liverpool
in real
team,
life?
In real life right now, not fantasy? Liverpool arguably 2 years ago sold Solanke, kicked him to the curb. You'll never start for us. Bring in Darwin.
He got a chance. I like Solanke. I really hoped that we would hang on to him, but he needed minutes. He was at that point in his career where he needed consistent
But why
minutes.
wouldn't Liverpool give him minutes? Because they haven't brought anyone in that actually has performed. They've tried. It's not from a lack of trying.
Well, no. Liverpool. I mean, they've only really brought in Darwin. He's the only forward they've purchased.
I mean, Gakpo was doing pretty good until he got hurt, but he wasn't really playing center
different
striker
players.
role.
Yeah,
Jota was good. Jota got hurt.
I don't know that they've needed Solanke. To your question,
if you
I like Darwin's
Solanke
upside.
I like Darwin right now.
I like Darwin's upside. I think I would keep Darwin because I honestly think that he's got that raw talent that he needs coaching. He needs confidence.
Even if he hits if his raw talent comes to fruition.
I like this. We're back on Liverpool again.
He did it, not me. Top of the table, Liverpool.
This is true.
Sorry.
I mean, I guess that's my point. They don't need his goals now. All right. So Salah goes to Saudi Arabia, and they've got to figure something out. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Reeling this back in, other than Solanke, Brian, and maybe a Bournemouth guy. I mean, look, there's no one from United anyone's moving to, so we don't even need to discuss it.
Look, Tavernier got 2 assists in the game.
That's what I was trying to bring out here. Tavernier.
So
his price is already gone up.
So you can do 2 things.
5'4".
You can do 2 things with Tavernier. Okay, he started. He got a run of starts in game week 5.
Okay.
45 points since game week 5. That's not great. I'll just tell you. 2 goals and 2 assists since game week 5. Guess when those 2 goals and 2 assists have happened?
Against Luton and Sheffield?
They've started in this good run of form from Bournemouth.
Okay.
So since his run of starts in game week 5, 45 points. He's 11th for shots. He's got 11 shots on target, which is tied for 6th best. But only three big chances. He's not very creative. He's not creating big chances.
All right.
But since Bournemouth has gone on this 5-week run of form or whatever it is, Tavernier's got 31 points, which is 5th best, tied for 5th among midfielders. He's taken 12 shots, which is 4th best for midfielders. 7 shots on target is 2nd best among midfielders. 18 touches in the box, not great. 2 big chances to score, that's tied for 2nd most. So lots of midfielders have done it, but it's tied for 2nd most.
Right.
And he's created 11 chances, which is 6th. So this run, it depends on which Tavernier you think you're buying. Are you buying the season-long Tavernier
or the
recent form Tavernier?
Okay.
I think the matchups are good enough for them that you probably can ride. You can ride the.
Would you rather own Tavernier or Palmer for the next 4 match weeks?
That's a good question.
Holy jeez,
it's a good question.
You guys should bet on that.
No, he's asking you.
Who would you rather own?
I think I'd take Cole Palmer.
Oh boy, this is interesting.
Over the next how many game weeks?
4 match weeks.
I mean, look, it's Luton, Fulham. What do we say? Luton, Nottingham Forest, Fulham, Tottenham. That's your Bournemouth. That's your Bournemouth.
Chelsea's
is real good.
Home Sheffield, at Wolves, home Palace, at Luton.
At Wolves is not fantastic, but there's
at
still
Luton's not fantastic either.
No,
but Sheffield and Palace.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bournemouth is form right now, and Chelsea's not form. I mean,
they're hit or miss.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Inconsistent.
No, that's why I'm saying.
Interesting.
It depends on how you're skewing it. The reason why I'm saying Cole Palmer is just that, it's a bad result for them this week. But Cole Palmer, it doesn't change that he's on penalties. Tavernier's playing well now.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. It's not because I'm saying I'm buying it a little bit. I just wouldn't buy it over Cole Palmer.
Brian, Travis, your last thing. Again, I threw out the other games. If it's worth mentioning, Cunha gets back on the scorecard again. I think it's probably worth mentioning. Hwang or Cunha, both I believe continue to be. Brian, Hwang did not bring a return for you this week, but that was that normally is happening, and it obviously didn't happen this week, but Cunha did. And we've always said, it obviously, like other podcasts can say, it's not just us, but if Wolves score, it's through Cunha and Hwang. And so
it's
one
just
of
that
them is going to be doing it.
With Cunha, it's the same kind of thing. I insulted him weeks and weeks ago about just being good for minutes, and then he gets 5 straight weeks of returns.
Yep.
Here's why. Do the same thing. Game weeks 1 to 11, he scored 34 points. Not even in the top 10 of forward scoring. Game weeks 12 to 16, he's got 31 points. So his 5-game run here of returns, he's
hot.
third in forward scoring.
Yeah.
So again, it's like his shots.
Streaky.
I said before, like his shots are okay. He was okay the first 11 game weeks for shots on target. His chances, 3 big chances in the first 11 game weeks, and he's got 3 big chances in the last 5 game weeks. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like how you want to read that? Like, yeah, he's in a really great vein of form here, but so is Huang. So like a down result for He-Chan gets you almost nothing this week. I think he had a shot or something like that, but barely anything. That's like not great. But prior to that, like his price had gone up. Is he a bad pick all of a sudden because they had a down week? No. Is Cunha an amazing pick because he's got a hot streak of 5 returns in a row? Yeah, maybe. It's like of course it's going to continue. Of course it'll go on forever and ever. He's never going to have a down week. I just don't think you can really read it that way.
Can I also bring up a dark horse? I think we're gonna be talking about a lot more. He's only 0.2% owned. Is Pablo Sarabia? I think we're gonna end up finding a way to talk about him.
Real good player. I just don't know that even on that team. I just don't.
Wise.
Probably not gonna do
his
anything
minutes are. I think it's starting to happen. I don't know what it is about that guy, but it seems electric to me. So just wanted to bring that up. Few last things.
Here's a whole bunch of miscellaneous things.
Okay, all right, here, let's bring it. I love that. Drop it. Knowledge.
So the first thing was go back to Chelsea for a second. That's Robert Sanchez asked to be substituted.
Did he really?
Knee issue.
Oh,
Jordi Petrovic, DJORDJE. Your favorite way to spell George.
Who?
He's their backup goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. He's 4.5. So that's a problem.
It's kind of high for a backup, isn't it?
He's selected by 4,095 people. That's a lot of cousins. He played the final 6 minutes of this game, but this is a thing where, you're probably going to need to.
Oh, boy.
If he's asking to be substituted.
Not good.
Probably not good, and that doesn't help the Chelsea cause here. So that's something to pay attention to because there's it's not Sanchez, but it's also not a 3.9 goalkeeper. I'd rather have a useless 3.9 backup from Crystal Palace than a 4.5 Chelsea goalkeeper.
Word.
Pascal Gross.
Yeah.
We
didn't bring him
for
up.
Brighton.
We've needed to talk about him for a couple weeks.
I think he's the only. First of all, I think he's the only Brighton player you can trust right now. Matoma had an awesome chance at the end of the game, but he was benched this week again.
Skied it.
So Grob got a 0 against Chelsea. He only played 33 minutes, got a yellow card in that match. But that was a rested match. Since he came back from his injury in game week 8, he scored 43 points. That's fine. He's in 10th for midfielders. He's got 5 assists. Which is the most. He's tied with Saka and Doku and Andreas Pereira. Like that's the most of any midfielder. He's taking he's created 20 chances. So that's second most.
Okay.
Salah and Saka are the only people ahead of him.
Okay.
And he's doing everything at the end. So all of his, like we talked about before, his entries into the final third, entries into the penalty area, corners, kicks into corners that go into the box, all of Brighton's free kicks. He's top 3 in all of those categories. Pascal Gross was close to scoring a goal in this match too. So I just want to say Pascal Gross, he's 6.4, probably going to put you up. That's going to put a lot of people off, but he is 3.1% selected. I just don't think he's a crazy pick. He's been this is
consistently good.
Awesome production. I was going to say he's the only one you can trust, but then Adingra can make the case just because I think the fear was, the minutes, is he going to start whatever? He came off the bench against Aston Villa I don't know, however many weeks ago. Otherwise, he has started every match since game week 5, Adingra. So he's 5-0. He scored the goal this week. It's Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, West Ham that finishes the year for Brighton. That's okay. I think there are goals there. Again, we're going to talk about, they're like everyone else. How are they holding up to the additional matches load?
Yeah.
It seems like it looked
Not
bad. Now
great.
it's okay. But even this result, not your favorite result, but still, he got the goal. Pascal Gross gets the assist. That's it. Now I want to just say for Aston Villa defense, okay? I feel like I've changed my mind 100% on Dean. And the reason why I say that is because this is not an Alex Moreno podcast. This is not an Alex Moreno moment. I just want to say,
oh no,
Moreno is fit. He's gotten more minutes here the last 3 game weeks, but Dean hasn't lost his spot despite Moreno being back to fitness. And I think that matters because this is as good as Aston Villa has been.
yeah.
And I'm just saying, Luka Dean is 3rd on the season for chances created among midfielders. He has 28 chances created. Trent has 34 and is the 2nd most. And Dean has 33 touches in the box, which is 3rd. He's 3rd to Udogie and Porro have 35.
Okay.
And James Tarkowski's got 38. I'm just saying, he's not shooting a ton. That's fine. He had an amazing shot against you guys. Was I begging for that ball to go in there.
Whatever, dude.
I'm just saying, he got his 5th yellow card. He got so he's on a yellow card suspension this week. But like we just said, so he misses the Brentford match. I wish he was there for it. But assuming he's not going to lose his spot, which I don't think he will, it's Sheffield United, Manchester United, Burnley, and Everton. That's the 4 matches he's coming back to. He's 4.7. I'm not selling him. I was so close, the itchiest trigger finger on getting rid of him for that entire horrible run. And I just kept looking at it. I was like, he's been, other than Pau Torres, has been probably their best defender. He's been awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just I'm not saying that. Obviously, you're not buying him this week. Again, yellow card suspension. I just want to. I like it. I like the way he's playing. I'm off Alex Moreno.
Are you sure?
I'm wearing a Dean shirt right now.
Okay.
Not really, but
all right.
Sure.
Not right this second.
All that being said, we get to the end of the podcast here. I just want to flash quickly through our fantasy podcast league, as I thought I had it queued up, and then I'm struggling. I'm grinding. Now, here we go. All right. League Shen, Rockabye Angel, massive week, 79. I feel like that's a huge week this week. I thought mine was pretty good at a 72. There was League Osman, Ball So Hard FC, turned into 75, so kudos to him. Scanning.
You thought you were number 1.
I'm top 3. I'm going to be top 3. I'm top 3. So kick rocks. Top 3. There it is. All right. And look, I'm moving up the podcast league. I'm doing my best, trying to catch people.
A 72 will get you way up there almost every week.
Yeah.
League Xander, Flecken team, had a 76. So there we go. I think I was 4th place.
Good name.
Yeah. Excellent name. And then Nostradamus Wrexham, Michelle, League Michelle is down in 2nd place. Those are your top 3. And then my boy, League Joshua, Why Always Me? 4th place, 67. Excellent week. And then, so anyways, good scores. Some good scores this week. Look, if anyone was keeping up with me this week, it was an excellent score.
No one was. No one's keeping up with you.
Look, I will only have a good week like twice a year. So this was that one time. So I'm going to try to revel in it as long as I can. Captains this week. It'll be interesting, Brian, once we get word on Holland. I might be selling him. I might not be selling him. Salah's home to United. Son is at Forest.
I mean, you gotta
seems
think,
tasty.
Yeah,
Solanke home to Luton. Interesting. It's away Luton here, so that could be interesting as well. And then again, watch Cole Palmer home to Sheffield be the pick of the week. I don't know.
But I'm not. I wouldn't go near it.
What about Alvarez home to Palace?
Chris Wilder.
He doesn't own him.
Chris Wilder, the name we couldn't think of for whatever reason last week.
Bit.
I know is stupid. I think he's got them. He's got them back up.
Chris Wilder, Sheffield. They're getting a manager bump.
I'm not saying they're going to beat Chelsea, but I trust them to put in a performance. They did it 2 weeks in a row. They harassed you guys
Enough, yeah.
So I mean, not like you're going to expect them to win, but I'm not counting on Chelsea just rolling them.
Travis, do you know where your captain's going this next week?
Holland.
Okay.
Vice Salah.
Okay.
I'm just not going to get caught out.
Fair enough. Brian?
If he plays.
I think shambles Manchester United. Salah getting to play Manchester United at
Anfield
home is
a good
going to be really tempting. Spurs at Nottingham Forest is not at all scary. I really the way Nottingham Forest is right this second.
Transfer of the week, Brian, for you?
That's going to be tricky.
Are you waiting? I'm waiting.
Transfers already made. Made them on Saturday. Made moves that I knew I wanted to make, but jumped on it way too early, or else I definitely would have sold Haaland instead of Julian Alvarez.
Interesting.
I banked the transfer, so it was Tyrick Mitchell out for Senesi. It was I finally got rid of Mbeumo.
Okay.
So Mbeumo out, Anthony Gordon in.
Okay, I like that. I like a home Gordon.
All of that for the purpose of getting Ollie Watkins in my team ahead of Brentford, and it was Julian Alvarez out, Ollie Watkins in. That is prior to the Holland injury news because I'm impatient and I didn't listen to myself.
I think
I was nervous about the money because Mbeumo was dropping, Mitchell was dropping, Gordon was going up, and I was afraid Watkins was going up, and that I was on exact money. That's the reason why I did it. I'm angry because I don't think it would have been. I think I still could have done it if I had waited a day.
I'm gonna do.
Obviously, with Holland, I could have done it.
I'm gonna do the Douglas Luiz out, red card. Douglas Luiz out, Gordon in. At least for the next 3 match weeks, I think. Probably for me, that's going to be my move. And I think if I find out Holland is out, I'm not scared to go Watkins to Holland, even for a hit this week, assuming Holland might be out for a couple weeks. I'm just not going to spend that Holland money.
Yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you. Well done. Look, I love that this pod was a lot of fun, and we covered a ton. It was an excellent listen. Hopefully, excellent watch. My apologies for having to get up mid-pod as I needed to go to the little boys' room. For the FPL America podcast, this is David Smith. Until next time.